Hey guys, welcome back. It's Mr. Morales, and today we are going to be learning how to find the x and y intercepts for cubic functions. Now, you can read all the notes, and it basically says the same thing for both. For one of them, you're going to set y, or f of x, equal to 0, and then solve your function for x. And for the other one, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to set x equal to 0 and solve for y to be your, to find for y, the y value. And then the notes, I've noticed with you guys, yes, we can read notes, but you guys are best understanding when you are demonstrated. So let's go ahead and go to the first of just two examples. Now, what it said at the beginning was change f of x, that notation, to y. So I'm going to first begin by rewriting this equation. And instead of saying f of x, I'm going to say y equals x minus 3 in parentheses to the third power. Now what I want to do is I'm going to have two steps to solve for the two intercepts. On one step, I'm going to make x equal to 0 and then figure out what y is equal to. On the second part, I'm going to set y equal to 0 to figure out what x is on the x-axis, the intercept. So here's how it works. X equals 0 for the first part. I'm going to take my original equation. Right, remember, I have y instead of f of x. Now, wherever I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 0. So y equals 0 minus 3 to the third power. I'll go ahead and just follow PEMDAS. 0 minus 3 in parentheses is negative 3 to the third power. Negative 3 to the third power is negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9, times negative 3 again, which is negative 27. So what I get here then is that when x is 0, my graph will cross at negative 27 on the y-axis. That's one of my intercepts. Now I can go ahead and do the same thing over here, but instead of making x equal to 0, in my equation, I'm going to go ahead and make the y equal to 0. So this will turn into a 0. And now I'm going to solve to figure out what x is. In order to get rid of this cubed function, I'm going to take the cubic root of the left side and the right side. The cubic root of 0 is 0. If something is cubed and then cube rooted, those cancel out, and I'm left with whatever's under the radical symbol, x minus 3. Which I really don't need to keep in parentheses anymore, so I can go ahead and get rid of them. Now I have to get x all by itself. I'll do that by adding 3 to both sides. And now x equals 3. That means x equals 3 when y was 0. There's my second intercept. Those 2 points are the two points on the x and y axis where this graph would cross. That's all it means. That's all an intercept is. We don't care about the shape of the graph, or which direction it's going, or any other number in between. That's all we're looking for this assignment. So let's practice one more of these. The procedure is pretty basic, so you're going to see really soon really fast that there's a reason why there's not so many examples. This one's a little more complicated in that there's more steps, but it's the exact same thing. So what we're going to do first is rewrite this equation and change f of x to the letter y. So y equals 3 quantity x plus 2 to the third power plus 3. Great. I'm going to set my two columns. One of them is going to be when I solve x equals 0, and the other one's going to be when I solve y equals 0. I'm going to take my new equation, rewritten at least, it's not really new, and I'm going to change all the x's to zeros. So I get this equation. Now, this is the easy part, I just follow PEMDAS. Y equals 3 times 0 plus 2, which is 2, to the third power plus 3. After I do parentheses, I do exponents. 2 to the third power is 8. Now I'll be multiplying and dividing from left to right. 3 times 8 is 24. And then I go ahead and subtract from left to right. 24 plus 3 is 27. So my answer is x is 0. When x is 0, y is 27. There's one of my intercepts. Now we do the reverse over here. We're going to change y equal to 0. So wherever I see a y, I plug in a 0. And I'm going to work backwards now to solve for x. In order to get this stuff all right here by itself, I have to get rid of the stuff that's outside. So first, I'm going to get rid of this farthest number, which is this 3, this plus 3. I'll do it by subtracting 3 from both sides. So negative 3 equals 3 times the quantity x plus 2 to the third power. Now, I need to get the stuff in parentheses all by itself. It's being multiplied in the front by this 3, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Negative 3 divided by positive 3 gives me a negative 1. These cancel out. And then I have x plus 2 in parentheses to the third power. Okay, great. But I need to get the x by itself, which means I have to get rid of that third power. Well, what gets rid of raising something to the third power? The cube root. Cube root on the right, cube root on the left side. Sorry, my 3 looks all messed up. The cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. X plus 2 cubed and cube rooted, those cancel out because they're inverses. And I'm left with just x plus 2. Let me see if I can scroll down a little more. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides. Negative 1 minus 2 more is negative 3. There's my x value. So x is negative 3 when y was 0. There's my other intercept. This is, in a nutshell, the whole process for your assignment. So I'll quickly show you your assignment that you're going to have to do. Here you're going to have, say, I think it is either 8 or 10. Let's see. 10 problems to work on. And all of them follow the same process. I would expect you to go ahead and first rewrite the equation. Get my pen going, sorry. Rewrite the equation so we have y's and x only. So y equals x minus 3 to the third power plus 8. And then you would go ahead, make your 2 columns. Solve for when x is equal to 0 for the first one, y is equal to 0 for the second one. So I would say x equals 0. That means I'm going to have y equals 0 minus 3 to the third power plus 8. You would subtract 8 from both sides. Oops, my bad. I totally did this all backwards. I'm thinking of y equals 0. My bad. This is a PEMDAS problem now, because I know what x is. So y equals 0 minus 3 is negative 3 to the third power, my negative sign there, plus 8. Negative 3 to the third power. I'm sorry, my 3's not coming out. This pen I'm using is not very fine tipped to pick up. Either way, negative 3 to the third power is negative 27 plus 8. Negative 27 plus 8 gives me a negative 19. So y is negative 19. I'll put that right there. And I'll go ahead and solve over here when y is equal to 0. X minus 3 cubed plus 8. I have to get rid of the stuff that's furthest from my parentheses. So minus 8 minus 8. I get negative 8 equals x minus 3 to the third power. Now I'm going to go ahead and cube root the right side and the left side. The cube root of negative 8, we learned last week, is negative 2. Now I just have the x minus 3 left over. I'll add 3 to both sides. Negative 2 plus 3 is going to give me a positive 1 for my x value. And those are my 2 solutions. This is similar to the kind of work I expect to see on your assignment, all right? The rest of these are yours to do. Best of luck, and feel free to ask me for confirmation or if you have any questions.